Hey there, lovely people. My name is Emma Lucille. Welcome to a continuation of a series I like to call My Life Falling Apart and I Talk About on YouTube, because maybe people like that. I drank 2 large Dunkin' Donut coffees, and I'm gonna drink an energy drink. Which fun. Welcome to new segment on my channel called Trying New Things for First Time. I've never had an energy drink. It tastes like a tropical vacation in my mouth. First story feels a good place to start. My first day of college. First day of college Emma, she was very young, full of light and hope. A motherfucking idiot, in conclusion. And when I think about those earlier times in my life, it just feels like a black sinking hole of which like little pieces of memory are floating around, and it's honestly terrifying. And one of those memories is the time I moved into my dorm room. I moved in early because of
boring, extenuating circumstances that nobody cares about.
I'd emailed them and like notified the people in the building. I was like, guys, I'm like coming a day early, please be there and let me in and stuff. And they all said, yes, definitely bestie. Got there, arrived with me mom, and I scanned my little card and it went so I couldn't get into the building. So we had to press like a little emergency button and be on the phone with like a helpline for like an hour and a half, and then someone came to the building and let us in because apparently they were like, oh, there's no one in there. That should have been the first warning sign. Oh yeah. Interrupting story number 2 because one was a lot better. I'm currently filming this in the middle of the week, and the only reason I'm able to actually even sit down and film this video right now is because I'm not physically attending class because my physical classes were moved online. You might be asking why. Is it because of coronavirus? And to that I say no. My school does not care about any of that shit. We moved online. Oh yeah. My school. I attend Florida State University. Florida State University, if I were to describe, is just one giant, massive, saggy, smelly sack of... It's not that bad. And if you feel like I'm a little bit too harsh or you're missing out on a little bit of context, I'll provide it here, pretty much. Not the brightest, not the best, not the greatest track record. Yeah. Emma, why the fuck did you go to that school? Because they offered me free. Because they say free. They say you have brain, you do effort, and we pay college. So my classes are online right now because the building where I take all my English courses has shut down. Mine, as well as a few other buildings, most ironically the health building on campus, have all been shut down because they found black mold inside of the building, and also radon cancer, and also 6 people died from being poisoned by the buildings at my school. So, you know, what better introduction to this video than to just preface with the time I couldn't go to school because I would have died from black mold poisoning. How did they not find that? Because they don't inspect the buildings and they never cleaned the building. Also, they only checked those few buildings, which, might I add, are not the oldest buildings on campus. Funnily enough, the oldest building on campus is the one I lived in story 2. Look at my nails. I got little heart nails. Happy early Valentine's Day. I will be spending it alone. As soon as the door swung open, we heard like a yelp and someone fall to the floor. I was semi-blinded because I was standing behind the maintenance worker. Oh my god, I hope that maintenance worker didn't die. Because if he worked in that building for years... The girl was on top of the boy. Who's to say what they were doing? She was on top and like came rolling off. She grabbed a blanket and like ran to the door. By the time I saw the conjoined mountain of flesh. I was looking in the other direction. Homegirl gets to the door and she's like, oh my god, what's going on? Oh my god, like, I had no idea, I didn't know, blah blah blah. Which just seems funny to me because I had let everyone know that I was coming. Also, she would have heard me literally next door trying to get in my room with my mom being like, I can't get in. My mom and I had knocked on the door when we came up, she didn't respond. And then like the guy at the building knocked on the door, she didn't respond. So like, how? It's just giving me a little smidgen of audacity, because how do you get all the way to the point where I'm walking into your room and seeing you literally naked and you're pretending like you've just now discovered the fact that I was coming? All I'll say is she had her chance. And so did her man, who was literally like, he pulled the blanket like over his head, just pretending like he wasn't there. Burned into my brain. One of the few things I remember from college. Story 3. This is the time I auditioned for K-pop club. I was a freshman. I wanted to do the freshman thing and make new friends. And my roommate Sarah was a huge K-pop stan. Pretty much my Spider-Man is her K-pop. She was like, okay, I'll bring you to my K-pop dance club's first meeting, and then you bring me to your film club's first meeting, and we can like get involved and make friends that way. So hers was first. Film club meeting, there's no point in even summarizing this story. I can just put a TikTok that'll do the work for me. She told me we were gonna show up and then they were gonna play a song and like teach us a dance. The song is called Red Flavor and it's by Red Velvet. Firstly, when I got there, people were already like in little groups. Sarah pattered off to like this little group and she was like, oh my god. And like, oh, who's your bias? I was literally like, what the fuck does that mean? Now I know. I've educated myself since then. Then we started doing the dance and I, in short, sucked. They either knew the dance, they knew part of the dance, or they at least knew how to K-pop dance. So they're teaching us all these like moves which are very specific to the genre of K-pop dance, and I had no idea how the fuck to do any of that. You didn't like publicly humiliate yourself in front of all these people, you just like couldn't really keep up with the dance. You blended into the crowd. When they said K-pop dance club, I didn't realize it was auditions for K-pop dance club. The club's like 2 hours. They're like, for the first hour and a half we're gonna like teach you the dance, and the last half hour we're gonna break you into small groups and have you perform in front of like the judges and record you and then pick the people to be in the club. This is probably the part where I should have walked away. But I thought an hour and a half, I can do it. I can do this. You know what? If this were a happy story, this would be the part where I would be like, and then I learned it and I performed it and it went great and I got in. But y'all know me. They took each of our lines, because I'd like shoved myself in like the very back line obviously, and they split our lines and then had us perform one line at a time. The sheer fear that was coursing through my veins. I thought I was gonna die. I was shaking so bad I could feel myself literally on the verge of like an anxiety attack. I started messing up the moves and I like couldn't keep up with anyone. Everyone was looking at me. I was so embarrassed that 40 seconds into like this 2-minute long song, I started crying and just left. The fact that out there somewhere there is forever immortalized video footage of me attempting to K-pop dance and then running off and crying, it keeps me up at night. I don't think I'll ever sleep. Shocker, did not make it into the club. What you're about to see is in no way correct. And it's something like this. Okay, this will be the last one for the video. This last story is the time I did cocaine. Kidding. Not yet. Maybe next video. Who knows? I was in this really large class, which when you have those, you'll have a professor, but you'll also have like a big team of TAs. I had never seen or spoken a word to the actual professor. One of the things we had to do for this class was a weekly discussion post. We were talking about some like big breakthrough that this hacking group had made. Was technically illegal, but like exposed all these evil billionaires. The post itself was just like, would you at all defend the actions of this group? And I thought, you know, they must get the same answer every time to these things, which is no. So when you submit them, you can't see what other kids have said till you post yours. I read every other post on that page that had been submitted. Everyone else said no. I said yes. What can I say? I'm not like other students. And in the article, they had said that this activist group was like, pretty much, we do it again, bop, bop. So I was like, sure. Like, they knew the risk and they knew that even if they got caught, they would do so doing really important work and making a difference. So why not? And then I added a funny little tidbit that was like, which is something I can't necessarily say I'm doing right now. And they saw that and said, suicidal. That woman is suicidal. Anyway, my professor, who literally had ignored my previous emails, never spoken to me a day in my life, never seen this man, sends an email. He's like, I care about you so much. I'm so concerned about you. Here's a link to a mandatory meeting you have to go to with our FSU counselors. This man did not give a single fuck about me. He was just covering his ass just in case I went ahead and killed myself. My TA literally responded to my discussion post, was like, we care about you so much, like I'm so concerned for you, and then gave me an F on the post. Now the class average was a 60, so, you know, it's not like I was that below the bar. Because I used to do so shit on every discussion post, just like everyone else, I would study so hard for the test that I got between a 98 and 100 on every single one. I ended up pulling an A- in that class. One thing about me is I will do absolutely anything for academic validation.
Nobody asked.
So I had to attend like a mandated session with someone at the school. And I'd heard stories about what that department was like from my friends. My one friend, who's my roommate, voluntarily showed up because she has really bad anxiety. And the first week where her therapist asked her, how are you feeling? She said, a little bit better. Therapist said, great. And then never scheduled a meeting with her again. She said, problem solved. 1 week you're feeling a little better about your anxiety, I will never speak to you again. I came in and they had me do a survey. I answered all the questions, and then I got to the end and they were like, would you want to have a therapist? Because you get free therapy as part of what you pay to attend the school. So I said, sure. And then I met with my therapist the next week after that. And after our first meeting, she goes, it's actually not a great time right now. We're really like booked with everyone, so I actually can't take you as my client. And I said, what the fuck was all of this for then? Like, why would you have me do all this shit and suggest to me to go to a therapist because you're so concerned for my mental health, and then like tell me to go fuck off and come back another time. Come back in fall, and let me tell you what, I did. And when I came back, they just disbanded the whole thing. Turns out they got rid of the whole department.
But a shout out to everybody with social anxiety. I kind of feel sorry for you. Oh, yeah.
Everyone's still paying the same tuition. They have a group of people who help kids with like sex problems. All of those people like gone. I knew someone who worked there and they're like, there's like one person staffed. All of the therapists gone. They only offer big group counseling sessions. You literally can't get therapy at my school anymore. So what do you call this? The time I got reported for showing suicidal symptoms, had mandated therapy, and then got dropped by my therapist immediately. Cheers to the American education system. It's fine. I'm doing a lot better now and coping in healthy ways, so. Anywho, that is where I'm gonna leave off for today. If you did like this video, it'd be great if you could show me with a little like. And leave a comment down below if you are interested in another part. Go Knowles! And by go Knowles I mean go mascot of my school, which is very historically and culturally problematic, but they refuse to change.